Columbus, Ohio. More of Ohio's mandatory restrictions to curb the spread of the coronavirus, including the state's stay-at-home order and 2-week self-quarantine period for travelers entering the state, will be cut short, Governor Mike DeWine announced Tuesday.
However, some key social distancing rules, including a ban on most mass gatherings and restrictions on bars and restaurants, will remain mandatory.
The current safe-at-home order will be replaced with an urgent health advisory, Ohioans Protecting Ohioans order, the governor said during his daily coronavirus briefing.
We are now moving from orders to strong recommendations, DeWine said. This is a new phase in our battle against the virus.
The language of the new advisory order was not immediately available, as the document had not yet been signed, according to Ohio Department of Health spokeswoman Melanie Amato.
However, DeWine said the state will continue to enforce a number of mandatory rules for various sectors of the economy to follow as they reopen, most notably, requirements that patrons at bars and restaurants must remain seated while eating and drinking and stay at least 6 feet away from others.
He also said Ohio's ban on most gatherings of 10 or more people, which has been in place in one form or another since March, will remain in place.
While the state's stay-at-home language will be formally rescinded, the rule hasn't been strictly enforced. When the safe-at-home order was issued May 1, the governor said that it is not a stay-at-home order.
But Lieutenant Governor John Husted said Tuesday that the order technically said you had to stay at home, other than a list of exceptions. Now, it essentially is going to say it's recommended, but not required.
Most of the DeWine administration's coronavirus restrictions, including mandatory stay-at-home and non-essential business closure orders imposed in March, have already been relaxed or lifted in recent weeks, under a safe-at-home order put into force on May 1. Under the order, the state has been moving to gradually reopen businesses and other sectors of public life.
The announcement doesn't come as a complete surprise. When the safe-at-home order was imposed, the governor warned that people should not be too fixated on the stated end date of May 29. The order itself will be superseded throughout the month, he said at the time.
DeWine's announcement comes after reports about crowded patios in Cleveland and elsewhere around the state last weekend after the governor allowed outdoor dining, drinking to resume last Friday. On Monday, DeWine said he was adding a large contingent of law enforcement and health officials to the state's unit in charge of investigating social distancing violations.
The governor acknowledged those issues Tuesday, though he said that, by and large, restaurants, bars, and customers around the state were doing a good job.
The governor has come under increasing fire from many of his fellow Republicans in the state legislature for his administration's stay-at-home and business closure orders.
Late last month, House Speaker Larry Householder stated that House Republicans have felt disrespected because the governor largely disregarded their opinions on how to roll back sweeping business closures.
Several other GOP lawmakers have since continued the drumbeat of calls to reopen, through letters, social media posts, a pro-reopening House task force.
Most notably, the Ohio House passed legislation that would limit the Ohio Department of Health Director Dr. Amy Acton's authority to issue lasting orders. Similar legislation has been introduced in the Senate, though DeWine pledged to veto any such bill that reaches his desk.
Ohio Senate GOP spokesman John Fortney said while the governor's announcement may not address all Senate Republicans' worries, they see it as a step in the right direction.
I think this is something that addresses a lot of people's concerns, Fortney said.
However, DeWine's actions Tuesday didn't appear to mollify Householder. Until all of the businesses in Ohio are reopened, the job is not finished, the Perry County Republican said in a statement.
Acton, who has been signing the state's coronavirus orders, as she's the one given the power under state law to do so, was noticeably absent from Tuesday's briefing. DeWine said she was not feeling well.
Read more Ohio coronavirus stories.
DeWine, Ohio will use all the resources at our disposal to enforce social distancing at bars and restaurants.
Ohio Parent-Teacher Association survey on schools' reopening plans draws huge interest.
Mismarked COVID-19 testing swabs from Cleveland's U.S. Cotton confused state officials.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says state has no plans to test all nursing home patients.
Ohio tennis courts can reopen May 26, but players must follow these coronavirus rules.